You really thought I'd pay $80?
Kinda.
I'd never.
Frit, you've been on fire. No, you guys have been on fire. I mean, all these subs, it's crazy. I ain't complaining though. I'll tell you one thing, I'll be turning 30 in about 8 more days. So if you guys really want to wow me, how about we get to 80K subs for my birthday?
You're gonna give me what I want, or I'm gonna continue to hurt people you love.
The big 3-0 is getting near. Oh yeah, also, Sundays, 12 p.m. I'll be streaming on this channel, so if you want to watch me live, get smashed, and yell into the mic like a lunatic, well, there's your chance. Anyway, there is no shortage of Nintendo news, but that's only a good thing for those of us that like to consume slop. The Nintendo Switch 2 is the console that's been making me realize where the future of console gaming in general is going. Back then, all you had to do was buy the box, and then you got the games, and there was nothing else to ever worry about. But Nintendo has figured out how to egregiously monetize nearly every aspect of the console gaming experience. I keep saying it every video, but I'm not gonna stop because it's absolutely insane. But the fact that they've figured out how to monetize buttons on the console can lead to nothing good. I'm sorry, but at some point they're gonna start charging you a fee just to boot the console up. Support the developers! Support the developers, they said. When all your money has done is supported Nintendo's anti-consumerism. Every dollar you give them has gone towards shutting down emulators, shutting down great fan projects, and selling you cardboard and locking chat behind a paywall. That's what supporting the developers has done for you. Man, if you were sitting in a room with me right now, I would do the fatherly thing and give you a slap across the face.
Smack rhymes with smack, like upside your head.
Make you realize Nintendo doesn't make games that are good enough to justify any of this. They are leading the gaming market towards an overly monetized future, where console convenience is one credit card swipe away each and every single time. I mean, there's no point in saying it's gonna go through one ear and out the other. Most people watching this video are agreeing with me, but you know, they're gonna buy the Switch 2 anyway because I guess the games are just that good? Personally, I don't think so. But just keep in mind, as of right now, Nintendo announced that the Switch 2 will have no achievements. And just like Game Chat, I'm betting the Switch 3 will have game achievements, but I bet you $1 million they'll lock it behind a paywall, because that's Nintendo.
Write that down, write that down!
Either way, that's not the real news. You see, in yesterday's video, we discussed how Nintendo fanboys were melting down online about tariffs and blaming the Orange Man for the price hikes. It's so bad that people were actually protesting the tariffs and bringing signs like this. Oh my God, I swear to God, I'm lucky I wasn't around for that protest. If I was, and I saw someone holding that sign, I might commit a felony.
That was so gay.
But Nintendo fans, how insane is it that Nintendo fanboys are so blinded by their love for this corporation that instead of going to Redmond, Washington and protesting at Nintendo headquarters of America, they protest against the Orange Man. The company raising the prices on them is not who they're gonna protest. No, they would never do that because they're stupid. So stupid that we finally got news today that confirms what I told you was true. And that's that the tariffs have nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with Nintendo's greed. And if it's not enough for you to believe me just saying that, don't worry, this is for Tango Plays. I don't just talk out of my ass. Nintendo themselves confirmed it. Let's get into it. In an interview with The Post, Nintendo of America's president breaks down the company's variable pricing approach for its new games.
Your license plate says scamming.
No.
Okay, I'm sure you guys already know this, but not me. I'm just barely finding out that apparently this bald motherfucker's name is Bowser. They literally have the villain of their games running the company. I love news because the jokes just write themselves. Okay. Oh shit. Shortly before President Donald Trump's far-reaching tariffs stunned the global economy, gamers were fixated on another number. Nintendo announced the Switch 2's marquee title, Mario Kart World, would cost $80. That, combined with the $450 price for the new console, put fans last week into a bit of a sticker shock, and was before Nintendo delayed the pre-order date for US buyers indefinitely to take stock of the new tariffs. I sat down with Doug Bowser, Nintendo of America's president, the day before the tariff decision. Nintendo won't address the tariffs beyond the delay announcement, but Bowser provided some insight into the company's approach to pricing titles. First off, Bowser noted that the other marquee title, Donkey Kong Bonanza, remains at the standard retail price for premium games of $70. What you see right there is variable pricing, Bowser told the Washington Post. We'll look at each game. Really look at the development that's gone into the game, the breadth and depth of the gameplay, if you will, the durability over time, and the repeatability of gameplay experiences. Those are all factors, and there's many more that go into consideration of what is the right price point for the game. So I think you can anticipate that there will be a variable pricing, and we haven't set a benchmark. Jesus Christ, Nintendo. See what happens when you let the villains to your video games run your company. From robbing Princess Peach to robbing consumers. I love PR bullshit like this. I can't get enough of it. I really enjoy the way these guys pick and choose their words, knowing so well it's going to be used against them in the future. See, what we see here, according to Bowser, is variable pricing. What does that mean? That means Nintendo can set the price at whatever they deem is acceptable. So if they feel like they put a lot of work and gave you a lot in a game, they'll charge you more. Why? Because they can. What's funny about this business strategy is it basically lets you know up front which titles Nintendo values more. So if they're charging you less for Donkey Kong, I guess they view it as a lesser title and of lower quality. And they view Mario Kart as a higher quality title or something. This subjective pricing, because let's face it, that's what it is. Subjective pricing is retarded. No, I'm not gonna say regarded. I'm a grown-ass adult. I don't say frick, I say fuck. And fuck this. Consumers have now allowed Nintendo to negotiate the price. Well, there is no negotiation. You will pay what Nintendo says, when it should be the consumers who decide. And well, actually, now that I think about it, since everybody's gonna buy these games at this price, consumers are deciding $80 to $90 games are okay. And subjective pricing, letting companies decide, is the way to go. All right, whatever. Hand over your consumer rights. So if Nintendo makes a Zelda game and they think to themselves, if people play this for the next 3 years, we should charge them $100. You're just gonna nod your head and say yes? You guys do realize that this subjective pricing means Trump had nothing to do with Nintendo's decision, right? And yet you're all holding signs at your protests, blaming the Orange Man. Nintendo fans deserve everything that's coming to them and more. They've decided to let Nintendo decide what you pay. This means that bigger, better experiences are going to cost more, but that's not how video game development or cost should ever go. This means Nintendo is going to count the hours you put into these games, and next iteration consider whether they should charge more. That is bullshit. This means games will lose value. It means the longer your experience, if you're playing something like I Am KCD2, which is $60, and I have over 120 hours, that means that if Warhorse was Nintendo, they would look at my hours and go, he put 120 in this, we better charge him $100 for KCD3. That means experiences like Skyrim in the eyes of Bethesda would be worth like $100. I cannot stress how insane this is. The scope of a game is now limited to what the company decides it's worth. This will actively encourage developers to negotiate their own ridiculous prices for games, which is exactly what's going to encourage Rockstar to charge you $100 for GTA 6. This is batshit crazy. You see what Nintendo fans have done to the gaming industry? You see what they've allowed this company to do? Do you see why I don't like them? And why thousands of people are subscribing to me? Because we all know exactly what this is going to cause. It's going to cause the gaming industry to go through another crash. The bigger the budget, the more they're gonna charge you now. That's right, the budget of these games, the visions game developers have, it's all being taxed on you. World is the follow-up to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the best-selling standalone Nintendo game of all time, with more than 67 million sold. Okay, see, I was close to 70. Not bad. Nintendo has been an industry pioneer since the advent of the video game age in the 1980s. The Game Boy introduced the concept of handheld gaming, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I asked Bowser if Nintendo breaking the seal on higher game prices is part of its role as an industry leader. I think it's less about representing the industry. This is really about Nintendo deciding the right thing to do for its products, or what the pricing should be for its products overall, he said. Even in the previous generation, we had some variability. I think for us, that's really how we want to proceed and go forward, he said. I can't speak for other games that might be released by other publishers or other platforms. It's more about what we think is right for our content, what is the right value for the consumers as they come into our platform. Now I even wonder what is the definition of a console cycle, Bowser said. We'll continue to keep Nintendo Switch as part of the family, giving consumers a number of different entry points that they can come into the gaming universe. Currently, there are no plans to reduce the price of the older devices, he said, but he leaves the door open to the possibility. At more than 150 million units sold, the Switch is the third best-selling video game device of all time, behind Sony's PlayStation 2 and Nintendo DS respectively. What I would say is that we'll continue to observe consumers and how they engage and enter into our platform at various levels to try to really understand what the future may look like, Bowser said. Here's the other point. We have an install base of 150 million plus units. We'll probably announce more on May 8th when we have our next earnings call. We want to keep those players engaged. Not all of them may be ready to jump to Switch 2. Hopefully with time and with the right games, it'll be compelling for them to want to come onto Nintendo Switch 2. We know there's a group of consumers that will be absolutely ready on day one to come on to the platform, he said. Okay, am I the only one that just noticed him? Did anybody else notice that he just admitted that they're not dropping the price of the Switch 1? They're gonna keep milking that platform, and why wouldn't they? Honest to God, why wouldn't they? I'm expecting cross-gen titles between the Switch 2 and the Switch 1 for the next 3 years, and again, like I said, why wouldn't they? It's a license to print money, but still, look how greedy they are. They won't even lower the price on this ancient tablet device. But there it is. He said it loud and clear. They're absorbing your playtime, what games you purchase, how long you play them, how many you buy in that series, and they're gonna take all of that into consideration when they charge you more. Fuck this company. They've decided, even though they're like one of the richest companies in Japan, they're still not rich enough. They need more money to shut down more emulators. And how are they gonna do it? With your money, of course. Isn't that great? Isn't it amazing? Don't you just love the Disney of video games? Taking your emulators away, charging you $90 because they decided their games are just too big to sell at $60. This is an outright scam. They're figuring out a way to make gaming artificially more expensive, and they're the ones who get to dictate what the baseline price for their games are. Funny, because everybody online was trying to blame this on tariffs, but right here we can see that the price was decided a long time ago. And the price being raised on you is because Nintendo felt that if you're gonna put a lot of time into their games, like, you know, a full-on 11 years of Mario Kart 8 made them think we need to charge more for that. We didn't get enough in our 67 million units sold. So you're probably wondering, well, what do we do? Well, since they want to give you variable pricing, why don't you give them variable purchasing, huh? How about that? Is it really so hard to say no to Nintendo? I don't understand. The games are okay. They're not so good that you can't resist. But there you go. I mean, at the very least, they're not hiding away from the fact that they're the ones who decided this pricing on you. So shut up with your tariffs. Quit blaming everybody but Nintendo. This was strictly on them. It's time you quit with your corporate simping. And like I said, my birthday is about next week. So, you know, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Get me to 80K for my 30th birthday, and I'll become a VTuber, I don't know. And I'll see you in the next video.
Fritongo sucks ass.